partner visa relationship and application timeline case study. The point of these videos is to give you a behind the scenes look at applications that we've prepared that were successful so that you can look at how long they took, so understanding processing averages, and the couple's facts to determine how long they were together for and what they had in place before this partner visa was submitted, so that you can identify areas of weakness in your relationship and your application, improve those facts before submitting your own partner visa. So this is an example of a double grant. So it's a dual 820-801 approved to an applicant from the Philippines, so Philippines passport holder. The application was submitted in August 2022. Request for information received in December 2022, and then an approval in February 2023. Okay, so average processing time, roughly approximate, around 6 months from lodgement to the eventual approval. Now, let's look at the relationship history. So this couple met, and I'm going to try to see if I can zoom in here just because it's small on my screen. They met in person a long time ago in 1993, which is an interesting fact. We are presented with similar facts often, and it sometimes looks something along the lines of childhood friends that had known each other previously, then went on living their lives. Um, Often, the one party comes over, obtains their own permanent residency, and then their own citizenship here in Australia, and then kind of reconnects with old friends, in this case from the Philippines, and in this case, kind of commences a relationship with someone that they had met and known earlier in their childhood. So that pops up quite commonly. And to me, that's an example of that here, where they had known each other a very long time ago and then reconnected, 2008, I think that says here, and then started dating exclusively from there. Okay, so it's an interesting, unique fact to this case study and perhaps relevant to you or similar to your relationship. So started dating exclusively in August 2008. Then introduced to sponsors family in December 2009. Purchased a car together in December 2009. Keeping in mind, this partner visa was lodged in 2022. Okay, so quite a long time ago. Introduced to the applicant's family in December 2009. Holiday in 2010. Joint leases in April 2015. September 2018. Engaged in April 2022, a joint lease in June 2022, joint bank account in June 2022, engaged our services around then. Pregnant, fell pregnant 4 days after engaging our services. Not saying that's relevant, but interesting to point that out. And then application was submitted in August 2022. And like I said, keep in mind that this couple received, or this applicant received, the double grant. Now, to be eligible for the double grant, there's two ways. An application, if it takes more than 2 years with the government, which they don't take these days, you may be eligible for the double because you've waited long enough, so to speak. Or if it doesn't take 2 years, but you've been together in a long-term relationship or long-standing relationship for 3 years prior to lodgement, or 2 years if there's a child, you may be eligible for the double grant. Now, these guys obviously were together for a very long time, together for a very long time, only engaged about 5 months prior to lodgement, but clearly the government, the department accepted that they have been de facto for 3 years prior to lodgement. Okay, so it's an interesting outcome here where the total length of their relationship and the length they've cohabitated exceeded the 3-year requirement, and they were eligible for the double grant. Now, it's not always going to look like this. There's a lot of cases where it's unclear if a couple will be able to demonstrate they've been de facto for 3 years prior to lodgement. They can certainly show they've been together, exclusively dating for 3 years, but maybe a lot of that time might have been physically separated, you're unable to formally live together, maybe not be able to open up joint accounts and kind of relying on money transfers and then living together for a short period of time. So it's not always clear whether or not a couple will, on paper, be able to demonstrate they've been in a long-term de facto relationship or a long-term married relationship. And so when couples present these types of facts, often the advice, the opinion is, look, ultimately, our first priority is getting the visa granted. And that requires us to look at what will your facts say at the time of application. So in this case, August 2022. What will your facts look like at that point in time? Do we feel you're going to meet the requirements of a de facto couple or a married couple? Yes, we feel you will. What we can't say, though, what we can say with less certainty is whether or not we'll be able to show you have been de facto for 3 years for the double grant. Now, I would always place more emphasis on getting the partner visa granted than getting the double grant. Double grant's always nice. However, the priority has to just be to get the partner visa approved in the first case, because eventually, even if you don't get the double grant, the government will invite you to submit documentation information to be eligible for the second stage approval at a later date anyway. So eventually you're going to get the permanent residency. And of course, we understand the preference in getting it approved straight away, but just understand that the priority is just getting that first decision, the first successful decision. And if you get the double, great. If you don't, okay, we didn't get the double, but you've at least got your partner visa. And we know really, as long as you maintain that relationship, eventually you're going to get your permanent residency. So to summarize these facts, the couple met approximately 355 months prior to lodgement, started dating exclusively 168 months prior to lodgement. I don't know what that is in years. Math is not my strong suit. Started cohabitating approximately 88 months prior to lodgement. Started pulling finances approximately 2 months prior to lodgement. So interesting fact here that they only opened up formal joint accounts 2 months prior to lodgement, and they were still eligible for the partner visa plus the actual double grant. And were engaged 4 months prior to lodgement. So again, another interesting fact. So this couple were only engaged for 4 months prior to lodgement, and they still received the double grant because of everything prior to that, the history of the relationship prior to the engagement and prior to the lodgement of the partner visa. So I hope this case study helps. I hope that it helps you and your partner understand more about relationship histories and milestones. Compare yours to this couple and see what you can do in your relationship and in your case to strengthen your application before submitting your partner visa. As always, if you're interested in working with our team to secure your partner visa, we invite and welcome you to book your free roadmap call. There'll be a link somewhere around this video. So book your call, we'll have a chat, and we'll put a plan in place for you. Thank you very much, Martin from Salva Migration, and all the best.